Hey guys, Forrest here, and this is Let's Talk About Uni episode 2. These Forza clips are cause my mates Blair and Nick wanted to dick around on Forza Horizon 2 online, and they wanted me to record some races and shit for a video, so that's what I'm using for this. And apparently I didn't realize that that runway wasn't the same one from Fast 6. Anyway, so let's get into the actual talking about uni part of Let's Talk About Uni. So we've pretty much got the whole of first year to talk about, because in the last episode, which was like 5 months ago, it was basically just a background. It was basically just looking at my previous academic results and shit, and it didn't really go into any depth about uni. So I'm gonna try and catch up on this episode. It might be kind of long. But, well, if you're interested, right? So, apologies for too much length, but if you're interested in this video, then you're gonna watch it. Simple as that, really. So, to start off, basically the first thing we ever actually really did was we had our sort of tutors for the actual games development course. Ben and Kevin, and they gave us a sort of an assignment to sort of just write something, just anything, write something. They gave us a choice of WordPress or another site like that. I cannot remember what the other one was, because funnily enough I used WordPress, and they just sort of told us, write something, make a WordPress site and just write something. I'm not really sure what the point of it was, but they made us do that, and I think I actually linked that in the previous episode, but I'm gonna link it again. That's that. It's kind of irrelevant, so I'm just gonna kind of gloss over that. But it's there. It's something that I done at uni, and it's something that's like external, and you can see it. So I'm mentioning it and I'm linking it. So on the actual modules, I'm just going by the order in which they appear on Moodle, which is like our site we log into for finding all the files and stuff for the modules, basically. So in trimester 1, and it annoys me that they call them trimester because there's only 2. Like, why call it a tri? Tri means 3. But anyway, the first trimester, we had Foundation Mathematics, which consisted of complex numbers. Foundation Maths is one of the headings, which kind of doesn't say much, and that consisted of exponential function, logarithms, and trigonometry. There was also calculus, vectors, and statistics. Now, I've already mentioned this in the last episode as well, but an entry requirement for the course was higher maths, which I don't have. So I was always going to struggle with the maths side of things, and this module kind of kicked my ass a bit. But I managed to get myself tutoring outside of uni, and I passed it. And for next year, I've actually just bought a massive book. It was on the middle page for the entire games course. It was sort of a suggested book, which is in the library at the uni, but I decided I was going to buy it because I'm probably going to need it a lot more than just like being able to loan it for like a few days. So I bought it. It's called Mathematics for 3D Games Programming and Computer Graphics, 3rd edition. So yeah, hopefully that's going to help out a lot next year and, the years to come when there's more maths. I don't think it would have helped this year, probably not. It might have. I've not actually looked inside it, it's just sitting in my room. It's actually acting as sort of pressure to put on my phone, because my phone has to charge at a certain angle, and with pressure on it at the moment, it's kind of a pain in the ass, but that's what it's up to now. I haven't had a chance to actually read it, but yeah, it's there, and hopefully that's going to help. Moving on, so we have Software Development 1, in which we use the programming language Java. So I'm just going to reel off the names of the lecture slides from the middle page. So there was Introduction to Computer Science, Dimensions of Programming Languages, Data and Data Structures, Arrays and Linked List, Data Structures including queues and stacks, Object-Oriented Programming, and then Encapsulation, computational thinking, inheritance, polymorphism, and abstraction. So yeah, and then in that module we had a coursework in Java called Windows and Doors, and basically what that was we had to use loops to draw lines and arcs and stuff like that in certain places to recreate an image, and that was pretty fucking hard actually. But yeah, that's what the first coursework was. The second coursework was another Java one, and it was called General Election. And basically in that one we were given loads of code and sort of information included into that, like as if it was a database full of information, and we were given questions and we had to write code to make the output be the answer to those questions. So we were basically programming to find the answer, basically. But obviously we were given the answer and we had to, program it to find one that matched. Well, that was quite fun actually. I mean, it was a pain in the ass, but it was kind of interesting a bit. It's quite hard though, cause like you have to really wrap your head around so much political jargon, and it was kind of, the struggle was more with like politics than the actual coding for a lot of people, so that kind of caused problems, but I think everyone did alright. Next up we had a group project, again in Java, and this time basically we were given a game of chess, but none of the pieces moved and there were no rules, and basically we were given a set of problems and they were ranked sort of easy, medium and hard, and you had to try and just fix as many of these problems as you can, and our group did alright actually. We did a bit of sweating right up to the end, and we had some problems with like combining code. Like I had fixed a problem that we'd been sweating on for like 2 days, emailed it in, and then we stuck it all together for the demonstration, and one line was missing. No idea how, but one line was missing and it fucked it up. Like it was for the pawns, I can't remember what the row was, but it worked for the black pawn and not the white one, or the other way around. It was easy enough fixed, and Andrew the lecturer actually let us fix it for the demonstration, so that was pretty cool, but that could have caused problems if it had been a bigger issue. Another module we had in trimester 1 was Computer Systems 1. There's not really much I can say about that. It was pretty much College 2.0 for me. I did really well in this module because it was pretty much fresh in my mind from the year before. So the three categories were hardware and hardware and architecture, operating systems, and networking. Networking was always going to be the shitter of the three for me. Like even at college, I fucking hated networking. Not fun. Not an easy subject to memorize things in. Just so much terminology and shit. I don't know what it is, but networking I have a bit of trouble with. But the other two were pretty easy for me. Actually, probably could have absolutely beasted them if I'd revised fully. I kind of just like half-arsed them because like I felt I knew everything from college, which was kind of a dick move from me, but you know, I still passed comfortably, so I was kind of happy anyway. Moving on to trimester 2, which is the final trimester of first year. So we had Programming Fundamentals, which was taught in C and in C++. Again, I'm just going to read through the unit names. So we had Basics. That's very helpful. We then had Data Representation, Inline Assembly, Including Files in Declaration Order, Call Conventions, Memory Management, Debugging, Object Orientation, Introduction to Polymorphism, Operator Overloading, and Data Structure and Abstract Data Types. So in this module we were given a workbook which started out mostly C and then advanced to C++ after the first coursework. And what that workbook was they gave us codes, and it was basically just, they blocked it. I'm not sure how they done it, but they blocked it so that you can't copy and paste, but they gave us the code for every program, and they were like, right, rewrite this, which forces you to actually read it and code it in again. And it's quite easy when you're just copying like that to make fuck ups, and you have to like properly debug it and like stare at it till you realize where you've missed the semi fucking colon. And yeah, that was pretty good actually. It wasn't just a case of like manual copy and paste though, like they gave you explanations of what code did, and it was thoroughly commented. And even just the workbook, like, right, next we're going to do this, this, and this, and this is why we do it this way. You can also do it this way, and you know, it went into great detail, and it was really, really good. So then, coursework 1 was in C, and it was a program where we had to basically read the input from the user, and if they typed in I, you had to detect the letter I, so that would say that they were inputting a file, and then after the I, you would detect that the next word after that is gonna be the name of the input file, and then if an O is detected, the word after that in the input was gonna be the output file, so where you output to, whatever your program does, that's where the output goes into that output file. Or you create a file with that name, I think. I can't really remember. I think that was the name of the file that you were going to create with the new data in it. Then if there was an E inputted, the next string was going to be what you take and you encrypt it. They gave us I think it was 4 steps of encryption. I cannot remember what they were, but I think one of them was converting to hexadecimal. Well, one was obviously converting to binary, and then you did something else with it, and then you converted to hex, and then there was one more thing, I think, and that was it. Encrypted, and then you would output it to the output file. There were other things that program was meant to do, but mine, I kind of left it to the last minute because I was a bit of a penis, and mine did that as the bare minimum, and you know, that was enough. Then coursework 2 was C++ binary trees. There's not really a lot I can say, like, unless I suppose I could kind of try and explain what a binary tree is. Alright, so a binary tree is when you input a lot of things, most likely numbers. Well, that's actually a lie, but in this coursework it was numbers. And you input numbers, and your first input is the root of the tree, and then if your next input is less than the root, it goes on the left hand side of the root, and if it's more, then it goes on the right hand side, and then those become branches, and then the inputs, further inputs, become branches of those, and they become branches of branches of branches, and it keeps going like that. So basically we had a lot of things we had to be able to do, like we had to be able to create a tree with randomly, or not randomly generated, but our own numbers. We had to be able to have a function to insert a node. In my case, I decided to make it so that you can create a tree with my numbers that are programmed, or you can create the whole tree by inserting 10 of your own numbers. So that was that. You had to be able to delete nodes, and there was a requirement, well, I say requirement, like you could, pass with not everything met, obviously. There was one for checking if a value exists in the tree. I didn't actually get that. I sweated on that on Skype with my mate Callum for like 3 days, and that just would not fucking happen. We could not get that to work. What else was there? Insert, delete, exists. There was definitely other things you could do. You were supposed to be able to like copy the tree, but that was like so far away. Like we wanted to get the basic ones ready and working before we would try like the difficult things like copy the tree and adding a tree and shit like that. That was way above like where we were by the time we were finished, so that was that. But yeah, that's what the coursework was, and as I say, that was in C++ rather than C, which the rest of the module had been taught in. Also, we had the exam for that module, and that was a lot of sweating because we left the course. We had 2 courseworks due in just before the exam, and we decided to focus on the courseworks, and then we had like 4 or 5 days before the exam to like sweat and revision, and I think I probably over revised because the exam was pretty easy. I'm really confident I've passed first year now, so that was a big relief. Another module we had in second trimester was mathematics for software engineering. Now the first part of that was a coursework on the weather, and that was using a programming language called F#, which basically, that coursework was basically just manipulating functions, kind of. I'm not really sure how to explain F#, but it was basically just writing code to manipulate stuff that was already written to find answers to questions. A bit like the general election stuff in Java from the trimester before in SD1. Then it got more mathematic with an Excel coursework, which was the one that took up the time just before the exam for programming fundamentals. And in that coursework, that covered stuff like minors, cofactors and determinants, Gaussian elimination, Cramer's rule, and central tendency and dispersion. That wasn't actually that hard. It was kind of just dicking around in Excel and sort of googling what the fuck these terms mean, because that module wasn't taught very well. I don't mean to be critical, but it was very, very poor. And yeah, I'm not gonna turn this into a bitch fest, so we're gonna move on. So next up we had Introduction to Human-Computer Interaction, and this is where it gets fun. This is where I got some shit to show off. And when I say show off, I mean just like show. It's shit. So first up, we had a coursework to design a prototype in an app called InVision for a computer repair shop somewhere in Edinburgh. So here we are. As you can see, I called it 4eyes Repairs. This here is a link to the homepage, which obviously I'm on, so it's not doing anything. I made up an email at repairs at x4eyes.co.uk, and the phone number is 01506 boobies, because what the fuck is maturity. I'll link this in the description so you can have a proper click through it. But yeah, this was my prototype, and this here works as a link back to the homepage, which apparently was not obvious enough. Sorry. So here it is again, but fully made up, and wow, like this is it, fully published. So this site, you can actually, well, it'll die in 4 years time, so like if you're watching this in like 4 years time, don't expect the link to work in the description, but it works for now. And it was a lot of fun. I kind of just dicked around in Photoshop basically. This was more like teaching myself Photoshop than anything. But yeah, and then we had another coursework, and that other coursework was this one. It was a group project for a browser-based game, which I still don't understand how it fucking works. The code was provided, and like, it's not even the code I don't understand, it's the fucking game. Like, it confuses me so much. But it was pre-coded for us. What we had to do was change the accessibility and usability and just the appeal and all these HCI buzzwords basically. The scenario we chose was a child on a transatlantic flight, and we had to try and keep them occupied and make the game appeal to them. So we have avatars. As you can see at the bottom, we had Spider-Man. It's now Elsa, because everyone wants to be a fucking princess, right? We have the option to change if you get bored of the game, which would not surprise me in the slightest. You can change to watch cartoons. You can invite your friends to Facebook, or invite your friends on Facebook to play. You can read that massive spiel, which is not very appealing to kids, but that's the how to play. We didn't understand it enough ourselves to actually break that down and fucking understand it and reword it, so that's that. There was also a fasten your seatbelt thing up the top corner with the idea that the pilot could like influence the game, because this is supposedly like a touchscreen on the back of the seat in front of you, so that was how that was going to work. We also changed the beans, because that's what it is. It's beans in a bowl. We changed them to M&Ms because, well, I don't know. That's just like one of the ideas we came up with to like engage kids. So also like it made it more colorful and less fucking horrible looking. So that was that. The music is very, very bad, and that was not my choice at all. I was actually in charge of sound, and I produced the sound code. I found a song from No Copyright Sounds, and apparently someone decided that we needed a song to be educational some way, so this was what we produced, and thankfully we produced a mute button as well. So thank fuck for that, because that song was, oh, it does your nut in, honestly. But yeah, that was our group project. The presentation will be in the link as well. The presentation was actually like better than how we presented it, so like we got a shit mark for our presentation, but the actual presentation file was really good, but the delivery was poor because we never practiced it at all, because our group, like, we could never manage like more than 3 or 4 out of 7 turning up at once, so it kind of fell flat on its face in front of like 6, 7 other groups. It kind of went tits up, but we passed, module passed, year passed, happy days. Alright guys, so that is the end of the video. Remember, you can like my page on Facebook and follow me on Twitter, And in second year, I'm going to be a lot more up to date with my Let's Talk About Unis, because it's going to be more interesting, and like every module or every trimester, I'm going to be interested in making videos. I realize that's only going to be twice a year, but maybe it'll be more than that. Maybe, you know, the modules will be more in depth, and I'll maybe go into like sections of modules and stuff. We'll just see how it goes, but it won't be like it won't be like this time next year that I make episode 3, put it that way. Alright guys, thanks for your listening for this long, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, I'm out.